Hello, welcome to Boardgames with Niramas. I'm Joseph and I'm here today with Draco. And we're getting close, Draco, close to the end here with the last games here we're going to talk about. It's just this episode and one more, and then we have the finale just before Christmas. There it's going to be in the weekend there we're going to have a top 10, sort of the end of the top 100. Now on this segment that we're going to talk about, there's no new games. Actually, it just so happens that these 10 have all been on the list last year. And some of them are, a little bit older, but it's like these games are really games that I have close to my heart and I really enjoy a lot. And, they absolutely had to have a place up here. Now, one or two have dropped a bit, but there's also a few that have gone up a lot. So let's talk about them. But let's get started right now. And we start off with a game here at number 30 that has moved from somewhere in the 80s. So this has moved up a lot for me. It's called Friday. Friday is a solo game only from Friedman Freeze, where you're Friday, you're trying to help Robinson Crusoe out while playing cards, and it's a deck builder, a small deck builder. Now, the reason this has moved up a lot for me is because I got the digital app, so I played it on my mobile phone, and it's really quick and easy, and the app handles everything. You don't need to shuffle and all that, which means I played this a lot this year. I haven't played it in a while now, but back in the summer, I was sitting on my porch, having something to drink and just playing all evening, because it's just such a fun game. But after a while, you sort of crack it. You find ways to do it. So, like in the card game that you can see here, me playing. This is like an older video. That one I had a lot of trouble beating, but once I started playing on the app, I really figured it out, and now I win like basically most of the time. So that also made it so it's a bit less exciting because I win all the time, even on the hard levels. But yeah, it's a really cool game. It's really hard when you start playing it until you sort of figure out how to do it. You got to be really aggressive. You got to gamble a lot, and it feels like you should. I'm more of a careful player, I think, so that's why I had an issue with it at the start. But yeah, I can really recommend it. If you haven't played it, go pick up Friday. It's just a deck of cards. Basically, you don't need that much table space, and it's so much fun. Or get the Android or iOS app. But yeah, really cool game, Friday. And then we have another game that has moved up a lot. This is also like 50 spaces up from like 80 to 29. Colt Express, and this is a somewhat older game, not old, but 2014, but it's just so much fun. I played this a few times this year, and I had such a blast every time with my friends. This is a game that really inspired me when I made my own game about Draco as well, because you have like this sort of hidden programming going on, where you can have a plan and you put down your cards and you think you know what you're going to do, but then something happens and that messes up your plans, and it's really fun. And that's the same in Draco's Adventure as well there. So yeah, and in this one you actually have a little train, a little cardboard train, and you have your robbers on it. You're going to try to get as much treasure as you can in a few rounds before you have to get off the train. And there's this sheriff hunting you, and you play cards to do different actions like run or climb or shoot at the other ones. But you might be putting down like a shoot card, and then since it's secret a lot of the time, well, it's both secret and open, but the player that you intended to shoot at might not be there when it's your turn to shoot. So there's a lot of, it's like crazy programming, and it's so, this game is not a game that you can, try to get good at and win and all that. If you win, it's just, fun, but you had a lot of fun anyway playing it. So Colt Express, can really recommend it. Then we have a sort of bigger board game style, Eurogame style, called The Networks. Now this game is so much fun. Sadly, this video is one of my older ones. As you can see, there's some glare there, so I don't really approve that these days. But, it's an older video. Anyway, the game, The Networks, is so much fun. It's you run a TV network, and you're putting out shows, and you're trying to get views. And in this game, you have these slots, so you have a show at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. You can put some like commercials on them, or get some stars recruited to boost your show. And it's all, it looks really funny. It is really funny. It's like a lot of the names of the shows and the pictures and all that are really, you laugh at it. It's a really, funny style of game. But it's in its heart, it's sort of a, mid-weight Euro game where you need to plan things, you need to do things in the right order, you need to figure out how to maximize your your actions to get the most points, the most views, basically. And you have to manage your economy and all that. And yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in this game, and I really enjoy it a lot. It's one of those games that I think, even though I might not play it more than like 2 times, 3 times a year, but it's always going to be close to my heart. So the networks, I can really recommend it if you haven't checked it out. You can also check out the video here, of course. All the links will be down in the description to the videos. And next up, we have one of my, oldies but sort of favorites. It's called Trajan. It's designed by Stefan Feld. And this game is a point salad in a way. You can get points in many different ways. There's a lot of different strategies to try out and to try to maximize your points in that game. You can build Rome. You can go out fighting. You can get bonuses, and you need to get votes in the Senate. Wow, there's so much stuff going on in this game, and I love it so much with all those. The main mechanism of the game is this Mancala, this rondel system with these wooden pieces in different colors that you move around. And it works the way that if you have 4 pieces in one of these little bowls, then you pick them up and you move clockwise 4 spaces, and you have to drop one off at each space you pass by. And the colors matters as well, so you need to plan that out. It can be somewhat, AP, sort of analysis paralysis game, because you can sit there and just plan and try to figure it out. But most of the time you can do it on your turn, because it's quite multiplayer solitaire as well. So you don't need to worry so much about what the other people are doing. You can focus on what you're going to do on your next turn, which speeds up the game. I like that. And also in the game, whatever you drop, whatever you land on is the action you will do, because there's 6 different actions in the game. And then that action has some different, options as well. How do you want to do that action? If you go to the shipyard or the sort of the docks, do you want to sell goods? Do you want to trade goods? Wow, there's so much going on in this game, and it's really cool. I really enjoy it. Next up, we have a game called Suburbia, and Suburbia. In this video, it's Suburbia, the Deluxe, the Collector's Edition that is I just picked up at Essence Spiel. So I'm not cheating here. It's not going to be sadly on the top 10 of the year, because this is not a new game. This is just a deluxeified version of it. Anyway, Suburbia has also moved up quite a bit, partly because of that deluxe version. I have a weak spot for nice components and nice inserts and all that, but the gameplay itself is the same, and it's really fun. And now I have it all. I have all the promos, all the expansions in that box, and I'm so happy to have that. This is one of those games that I don't think I will ever sell. I will have it in my collection and play it, as often as I can, basically. But once in a while. There's so much fun stuff going on in this game. You're building a city, sort of SimCity-esque, but you're competing against the other players to build the best city. You put out these tiles. In this video, I'm playing solo, the solo variant. But it's so much fun. There's all these combos with the tiles that combo off each other. You might want to build a highway next to the commercial, but you don't want to build like a heavy industry next to the residential and all that, because that will have different effects. And you need to get reputation to make more people want to move into your city, so you get population, which is points. And you also need to manage your economy, so you have money to pay for all those stuff. And here we have the metal coins and all that. It's just so lovely. This game is so much fun. I mean, even if you can't find this one, even if you find the Suburbia, the base game, the old box on like a secondhand market or anything, I can really recommend you to pick it up and try it, because if you like city building games, if you like sort of planning, and it's not that heavy, it's just in my type of weight. It's perfect for that sort of mid-weight or light to mid-weight Euro. I really enjoy it a lot. So Suburbia, can recommend it a lot. Then at 25, we have a game that I haven't filmed. It's a bit of a shame. I should film all my top 100 games, I realize. At some point when I get to time, I will try to do that. But Automania is my number 25. And this game, wow, this box, and it doesn't really look that attractive in some ways. It looks more like, I don't know. For some reason, it's sort of flown under the radar for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have missed this, missed playing this one, but it's so good. Really enjoy it a lot. The gameplay is, well, there's a few different parts in it, but first of all, you have your little sort of board where you build cars. Let's see if I can find a picture of that sort of here. And you build these cars, and you can put in different modules into your factory. So you can make the cars like this. You can make them have different abilities and so on, or like do you want to have a lot of speed, or do you want them to be environmental friendly and all that. And then you just sell them, and you can sell them to two different markets. This is really like it's really mid-weight, but it's sort of an economical simulation, which I usually don't really like when it's modern. But Suburbia is the same, of course. I enjoy that. So yeah, Automania, really cool game. I think a lot of people that haven't seen this or sort of skipped by this, really go check it out. Sadly, no video, but hopefully it will come next year or something. We'll try to just make a video of all my top 100 games. So Automania, really cool game, can recommend it. And then we have Great Western Trail from Alexander Pfister. This has dropped a little bit, but mostly because there's new games in the top and all that, and it's been shuffled around a little bit. But it had an expansion, came out last year at Essen, so played that during this year, and I really enjoy the expansion. I don't want to play without it anymore. I really enjoy that expansion. And now Great Western Trail in its base is sort of a slow deck builder. You're slowly building a deck of your hand of cards or a deck of cards that you draw from with cows, and these cows have different value, and you try to go to Kansas City to sell them and to ship them away further and further away to get more and more sort of benefits. But with the Railways of the North that you can see up here, we also have these railways up there where you can move around sort of and get benefits that way, and there's a whole new layer to the game which I really enjoy. And the game is fun. It's maybe it's not that great on 2 players. That's one thing I would say is a downside to it. It does work on 2 players, but it's one of these games that really needs more players, because there's some interaction with how you build buildings, and other people pass by your building, they have to pay you. That's one of the things in the game. And also the game length varies depending on the number of players, sort of. So with 2 players you can't really do that much, I feel, because the game ends too soon. But it's really cool game, Great Western Trail. I really can recommend it, and I look forward to playing his newest game here, the Maracaibo. I haven't played that yet. I will try to actually next week. So yeah, Great Western Trail, really good one. Next up, we have a game that I haven't played in a while, actually. I'm waiting for the expansion to come from Kickstarter, and then I will play it a bunch. It's Hero Realms. Hero Realms is from White Wizard Games. It sort of builds on Star Realms, which was a really popular game, or is a really popular game, I should say. But in Hero Realms, it's the same game in a lot of ways, but it's fantasy, and I do prefer that. In this game, I prefer it. A lot of times I do prefer space, but yeah, I just like the connection I have with Hero Realms. Now, Hero Realms has a really cool game thing. It's like a basic game. It's a 1 versus 1. It's a deck builder, so you build your deck better and better, and you play cards to do damage to the other player, and to get more money, so you can buy more cards, so you can get better and better deck, and so on. It's a pretty fast game. But then, like right here, I'm playing solo, so you can do that against sort of an Automa thingy, or like a boss. You can also play it with the Runes of Thandor expansion that I can really recommend. Then you can play a co-op or solo adventure style game where you go through scenario after scenario, and it's really thematic. It's just a little booklet, but still they got a lot of story in there, and a lot of thematic ties, and a feeling of progression in the game, where you sort of get better and better cards as you go. Really fun game, Hero Realms. And then we have a game that has been in my top 10. It has dropped down mostly because it's so huge and I have all the stuff for it, and I never get to play it. But it's Star Wars Imperial Assault. I love Star Wars, and I love this kind of... In this game, you have this grid combat. Basically, you move around. You can be 4, 5 players, I think. But I prefer it as a 2-player game where 1 player is the Empire, mostly me. I like to be that one, and then another player plays the Rebels and try to you go back and forth, you move around this map. It's Fantasy Flight Games. It's all these little items and cards and all that. This is an old video though, sadly, but there's all these little cards that you use with equipment to improve your die rolls, because there is die rolls, but this is one of the games that I don't mind it at all, rolling to resolve, because the rolls are they're so dependent on like the character and the situation, and you can use it in different ways. If you have a melee character, you're gonna have like the red dice, which do a lot of damage, but they might not have so much other things going for them. But if you have a blaster and you're a bit further away, you can shoot, and then you will get all these surges, which is a little thingy that you can then activate your abilities on your weapon or on other cards. And so it's not just like I roll a high number and I win. I love these custom dice. They're really cool. And yeah, there's so much cool stuff going on in this game. It's like it's a campaign game. I should mention that. You can play a skirmish variant, and people are playing like tournaments and such in this game in skirmish. But I just tried it. The main way I played this game is in campaign mode, and I had a lot of fun doing that. Now, I should also mention that you can play this solo or co-op as the rebels against a companion app. And I haven't done that, which is so terrible. It's been out for like a year, and I was so excited when I heard about it, when it was going to be released. And I was like, yeah, now I finally get to play with all these cool characters. And they're all painted now as well, because Martin has painted them. So these are my paintings here, so it doesn't look that great. But Martin has painted them really nicely, and I have all the stuff for it. And yeah, at some point I would like to do that solo against the app. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. But again, there's so many games and so few hours in every day. So yeah, let's go to the next one. And the last game for this segment for this week is another game that has been in my top 10. And I love it a lot, but you know, there's so many games. It got them pushed down a little bit here, but it's still in a good spot. Nations, the dice game. And as you might have noticed, this is a bit higher up on my list than the actual Nations game. It's been like that ever since I played both of the games. Because Nations, the dice game is such a easy it's so accessible. It's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You can teach it to new people. These days I even teach it with the expansion Unrest, with the green dice and all, to new people, because it's not that complicated. And they play it once and then they start picking it up and you can play it again. Really, really cool game, and especially with the expansion, because you get these asymmetrical civilizations or factions that you play, having different abilities, and you roll dice. And again, don't mind the dice rolling here at all, because it's like a Euro game. It's basically how you use those dice, and you have re-rolls. You can mitigate the rolls, and you have to use the dice in a good way with your resources and your culture and your warfare in order to score points and be the winner. And yeah, there's a lot of good things in this game. If you haven't seen it already, you can go check out my playthrough here. It's a bit of an older video, but I think the quality is okay in it, even though I keep watching it now and seeing that I had autofocus on back then. It's so terrible. Sorry, that is off topic. But anyway, I think we're going to end it there. Now, I hope that you have enjoyed this segment and all these games I've been talking about. Is there any game that you feel like, well, some games are still to come, but if you have any game that you feel like, why is not this game on the list? A lot of times it could be that I haven't played the game, because there's so many games out there. But a lot of times it also, maybe we have different tastes and all that. And by now I think my viewers know sort of my taste in games, even though it varies a lot. I like a lot of different games, I guess. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you, or I hope you see me and Draco next week when we get to the last, the top 20, which is going to be exciting. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening or morning, or whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Do you want to keep this little dragon this happy all day long? Then subscribe to the channel.